A very good morning team. This is Amir Mustafa. In this video we will understand Docker images and container in depth. We will also see how we can execute Docker commands and create containers and images. So let us understand what is a container. So mainly in Docker we will work with two major concepts, images and container. What are they? So images are pre-built images of some technology. For example, if we are using a tech stack called Python, and initially if we want to run in our local system, we used dependencies like pip command, or for node we used npm install, yarn install commands. So if we are using Docker, it means that we do not need this in our system. Our local software code should be free of dependency softwares. So for that there are images. Docker has its images of almost all technologies, and we use pre-built image and write some extra code on top of that if you want to customize. So mainly if we go over here, we can think image as a class and container as a instance of the class. So there can be one image, say node or node 12 if it is the older version, and we can have multiple containers, multiple instances of the image running. On the other hand, containers are, as we know, that they are just one instance made from the image. The cool part of this is Docker is smart enough that it does not copy paste the code, so that our code size doesn't increase. It is reference based. It's just a layer on top of the image, and only additional code written will be used. For example, if we use node, all the node packages will be installed once, and if we create 5 instances of the container, it will not copy paste for all the 5. One base code is used. Suppose 50 MB node file is used, plus our code, suppose 10 MB is used. So only 10 MB is used for each container, depends upon the code size. Let us understand image versus container. So we discussed the same now, that these are the templates and containers are running base of softwares. For example, we have created our code in our application. Let's go to our application. We have a Dockerfile. This Dockerfile decides which image to download. We will just understand the code one by one, but before that, what we will see is what happened. Sorry. So, but before that, what we want to see is that image is created on top of the Dockerfile, and we will run instances container. Okay. You will see them one by one. We'll do it practically. We'll run command and understand it. So now it's time for us to understand Dockerfile. So for Dockerizing any application, we need to create a file named Dockerfile without extension, and we use from node. What is this node? By the text we understand that this is using node command, but how will we know it? So let us go to the file. So Docker has its own official repository, Docker Hub. Okay, we can do a quick sign up, but for using it we need not uh, do authentication. From here, suppose if you are a PHP person, if you are a Python person, we can choose a respective technology over here. For example, uh, let's see Python. So it has official image, Docker Hub. It's just like most of the technologies, official image is there, and we can use it in our code. Our code base is Node, so let's use Node. When we search over here, this name which we see over here, we will copy paste in a Docker file. No, this is, so image will be, so our base tech stack node will be pulled from this repository, Docker Hub. And Docker Hub is an amazing repository. We can share images with our teammates, we can share images with team, just like with very easy access with Docker Hub. You will see this soon in upcoming videos. For that we need to sign up, but for Dockerfile we just need to copy paste this name and come here. So the first line which we see here is the name from which we are pulling this. The second line, copy paste. So we can, if we go over here, let's go. Okay, so what it will do, it will copy the file. Instead of this we could have used just like this, dot space dot. It means copy everything in this repository, in this code base directory, and paste it to the Docker container when we'll execute the code, this code. Okay, the next thing is npm install. So before dockerizing the application, when we used to run the code without Docker, what we did, we manually install npm install here. And suppose we are working in a team of, suppose 50, and all 50 team member need to install it in their system. So Docker helped us with this. What we did, we installed Docker once, and we can share this image, so they can use the image and easily start the server. So what we did, we are installing npm install inside container and not in the repository, not in the code base. Okay, then copy dot dot. This means that we are copying every code in the file. This line means we copied only package.json and pasted in /app of the repository. Expose 3000. This is for documentation purpose. So if we write expose 3000, we will understand that it will tell Docker that use 3000 of the browser external. And finally we see that command node server. So one thing just want to say, that we could have used this command, run npm node server. Okay, so but if we run this command now, at the time of execution, what happened, images will be created, multiple images, but our aim is that we create image once and use it in container, because when we run container we are actually running the instance of the application. So create containers more than once. So this is our syntax. We write in array of string format, node server. Yeah, that's good for the start. So let us now play with terminal. So first of all, what we'll do is, let's check Docker version. We're using 2.20.10. This is the latest version at the point of recording, and one second please, my system got stuck. Okay. So we will now quickly see list of commands. So we understood what is Docker, what is happening behind the scene. If you come here, if you see this image, we will access through terminal or remote API. For this video, we will see using from terminal itself. So daemon is running, Docker is running. How we'll know that? If we come over here, if we check here, we see Docker is running. So make sure that this should be running, otherwise we'll get unrecognized Docker error. You can check out the other video, previous video, which we have seen, dedicated video for this. And so what we are doing, that from the Docker hub which we have seen, we have pulled the image, for example node for our case. Then what we'll do, using command, will create containers, and everything will be accessed from terminal or remote API. So our first command is check available. Okay, so first we have seen the version which we were using, and let's go to our browser, sorry, IDE. So what we'll do over here, to see list of throughout this video, we will see some of the latest techniques, how we can optimize our code. It is good to know the all the command, but you know that visual technology, with the help of evolving extension, it will be helpful for us. But first let us see with terminal. Docker PSA. Docker PSA, it gives us all the containers available at present in our local. If you are running this command, if we are following this from previous video, you might also have 1 or 2 instances, but if it is not there, it's fine. We will create containers and we'll see how this can be created. Okay, now what we'll do, just come over here. So we go to the extensions and install this package called Docker. It is official Microsoft extension, and it will make our life easier. So what we'll do, we'll just click this Docker. From here they give us beautiful organized graphical view where we can see the list of, we have just run Docker PSA command. This gives us list of containers in our, so we see that this is our container 4771A. Okay, so Docker PSA gives us list of containers, list of all containers in our code. The second step is to import image from Docker hub. Now suppose if we'll assume that we do not have any image at present, so what we'll do, we have a Dockerfile. So Dockerfile is the base in our code to connect with Docker hub. So what we'll do is that we need to create one image. and we have given instruction: pull code from node, copy this package.json, install npm install, expose to 3000, and finally run the command. So let's run the code. Docker build dot. I hope we are discussing the same one. Okay, we'll come there. We'll come to this command soon. So first what we'll do is docker run my system is getting stuck. Really sorry for this. Docker run node, and it is important that let me open here. See, from here we can see containers, images, and many more. Okay, docker run node. So what it will do, unable to find what it will do. Suppose if we have node in our system, if in our local docker, then it will pull it. Otherwise it will then it will not, it will use the cache version only. Otherwise it will pull from the docker hub, which we have seen over here. It will take some time. Let me pause the video. So it has been a while now, 2 minutes, and we see that our file is downloaded. We get the ID, and we have pulled the latest image, latest node, and also what we want to see, that suppose forget that we have this extension clear. Now if we want to see the images, how we can see this? Docker images. We see that this image is pulled. It is pulled. See, I've pulled this image some time back, so some of them were just extracted and some of them were latest one is used. So how we'll know that? So if this is one way. So this extension was not there, I think, some time back. This was recently developed by Microsoft. So what it does is that using this command we are seeing this. So another way, interesting way we can see is using Docker. So initially it was not there. So now we have a node version over here. We can click here, we can see it is created. Now what we'll do, let's go back to our, so we have seen two commands now. Docker psa, this command is used to see all the containers in our docker, local docker. Docker run image, we ran docker run node, and we have seen that how we got this. So if we'll run again, let me run docker psa. So this command we ran to see the list of containers. So see, this one is recently been pulled 2 minutes ago, and we can see the history over here. Docker psa gives us list of all the containers in our application. And this one is the fun part. This is interactive mode. we will see soon in future videos also. For this we'll see that if we run any command in interactive mode, now it gives, normally when we run command, like we ran this command docker run node, either it is this terminal will always be running, like when we run node server, we start node server so that our application is running. But when we run in interactive mode, it gives us either it can ask question to us, like take some input, or it displays some messages. Like if we write node docker run it. So what is it? It stands for interactive mode. If you want to see list of commands available, if we run docker run help, we see that this is interactive mode, and T is sudo from the terminal. So what's it, the combination of it, what it is doing, that it makes terminal interactive. Either it can take message, or it can show us some message instead of progressive running server. So if we come back over here, let's go to our terminal, clear this, docker run node run in interactive mode. So we can write in combination, and we ran this command. Welcome to node 17.5. So this message we received because our terminal is in interactive mode. Otherwise what would happen, that we will see progressive terminal. Cool. This was a third point. We know that. Okay, so what we want to see now, that we have installed this, but it is important to note that we have installed in Docker and not in a local server. If we come over here, we see that there is no node modules over here, and this is because everything is installed in Docker. So if we come over here and run node version, you'll see that using 12.18, this is the version which last time when I installed this version node. But if we come to Docker, we see that it pulls latest. So it is possible that if we want to restrict to some version, it is possible. We will see this soon in coming videos. Okay. So we have discussed in detail all this point. Now suppose that to our code we have Dockerfile and nothing else, and we want to run it. So the first way we have seen, we have installed node. If we are over here and if we see over here, we have a container. Means what we are trying to do is that we will use from node, and we will do we have given sets of instruction to do. We'll be creating container now after creating the image. So first way image we created by npm run node, this way, which you have seen over here above one. Second way is that by that we have just installed the node from the official image. Second way is this one, Dockerfile. Pull the image from the node and do this sets of command which we have discussed in detail. Okay, so what is the second way? We'll come over here. docker build command, yeah, docker build dot. And this is important to note that Docker is smart. If we come over here, and if suppose we have now installed it now, I mean the node image, we've already installed node image over here, so it will not again take time and install from image. It will pull from this cache docker local, and we got some error. Let me check. Load build definition from Dockerfile transferring error. No, what's happening? This video might be little long. It will not take much time, but it will be worthy of time. We will here see all the terminal command, most of the terminal command. Ideal tree already exists. Okay. So let's do one thing. Go over here, right click, see the advantage and disadvantage. Advantage was it was easier to see from here, but disadvantage is that I'm running a video software to record this, and my system has become little slow, so this is taking time to open now. So let's use terminal now. Docker psa. What we'll do, we will just delete this. So to delete a command, to delete the container, docker stop. See, we have created this one some time back, that node image, and if you want to delete more than one, then what we'll do, we'll just copy paste, it takes some time, and we see that all of them are deleted now. Clear. If we run the same command again, we will see there will be exited 11 seconds ago. Okay, what we'll do, let's delete this images also. So normally when we click right click now, a pop-up should come, but due to the this recording software, it is my fan speed is also increased. Give me a second. What we'll do is docker build dot. Let's remove the image also. Docker rmi node. Enable to remove repository reference node. Container is using this image. This image is creating the problem for us. See, we can see from here. Okay, it's possible to remove now. So either we can use docker stop container name or id, or we can delete directly from using this extension. Now I want to remove this image also. No. So docker rmi node, deleted, and it's gone. So let's quickly create our image docker build dot. So last time we ran docker run node and created. This time we'll use docker run dot node plus some of our command. Enter. We were getting some conflicts earlier, therefore we deleted it. Let me pause the video and look into the issue. Okay, we are back. So the issue was very silly, that forgotten to save it properly. So what I did, just copy pasted the code again and saved properly Dockerfile. Everything else is same. So what I did, I just ran this command docker build dot, and in the end it ran and we got a image id. Okay, so if we go there, docker build dot, so I hope this time it will just wanted to check that this time it should not give error. So what it will do now, that as we have installed it first time now, this first time it took time. If we'll scroll up now, if it is not gone, the first time when we did, it took time. It took about a minute, and we have deleted node image now, so it took time and image came from the Docker hub. But this time when we ran na, it came from the cache itself second time. So it was very fast. We got our image over here. So if you want to see the image, let's run docker psa command. Okay, docker images command. So this one is pulled. The first time when we pulled the command now, we have pulled directly from official side, and we just ran docker run node, so it came with official name. But this time we pulled the node command, but from our Docker file, plus we gave it some instruction: do install npm install, copy paste in app, expose this, run node server. So it came, the name is unassigned. So need not worry for this for now. We will see how we can assign names also in upcoming videos. For now, what is important, that we ran a Docker file successfully, and yeah, so our image is created. Now we are ready to create containers. So let's start. Docker images. What is important over here is this ID. This is our image ID which we'll be using. So how to run the container? Docker run container ID, and we see that we have written expose 80. Let's run this. We see that we are getting progressive terminal. So let us now go to our browser and we run localhost 80. We see that our application is not running, a node is not running. So but we did it everything right. So there is a concept behind that. What is the concept? That this expose 80 which we have written over here, this is, we can say it's for documentation purpose. But every time we run from Docker server over here, Docker, consider there are two worlds. One is Docker world and one is outside Docker world, which is exposed. So when we write Docker 80, it means inside Docker it is using 80 port, but outside Docker, what do you mean by outside Docker? The Chrome browser, Firefox, which we are using, Brave, that is one port, and inside Docker it randomly assigns one port. So how we can do that? Just we come over here, click terminal. The way of doing it, we publish the code. We can also refer this blog. And if you feel that it is helping you, do subscribe to my channel. Happy learnings. So what we will do over here, so all the command is written, you can just refer to the syntax. So what the image is, so this one, what we'll write, we have seen how to stop container running the published port. So what we'll see is that this is the syntax: docker p local port colon docker port. So Docker port can be anything, 80, 3000, anything that is randomly assigned inside Docker. But local port, the first one, is important one. This is what web browser will use, and the container ID. So what we are actually doing, we are publishing this port. We are telling Docker, hey, use 80 from Docker and 3000 from web browser. So let us come back. Docker PSA Docker images. Alright, we copied this image, Docker images. We get our latest Dockerfile image. What we'll do is Docker run. So for creating container we write run command, for creating image we write build command. Docker run ID of your image. We just created image using Dockerfile, and we are using ID to create a server. We are creating instance from the image file container now. So when we run the first time, it gave us error, but this time what we'll do, we'll publish it. And what is the syntax? If you see over here, local colon docker, what we simply have to know, in which port we need to assign in browser, that is the first one, and in which port we have to assign the second one, that is the second port. Enter. And we see that a terminal is running. So if we go back over here, and we have assigned to 3000 now, localhost colon 3000, and we see our application is running. Hooray! So we this time we successfully ran our node server, and this is a basic app, but we can do anything. Happy learnings. So our app is working. Okay, and we get exact same environment as that of Node or Python, the technology which we are using. Okay, that's all for this video, team. I hope this was meaningful, and if you think it added benefit to you, do subscribe to Happy Learnings. Thank you, team. Bye.